What's up guys, MrBayeasy here, and today we're going to be talking about a very exciting topic. It's very interesting to say the least. It's going to be about whether or not the player should have the ability to alter fire rates and damages of a weapon, specific weapons, not player traits, okay? I'm not talking about player traits here. I'm talking about being able to alter the fire rate and weapon damage of weapons in custom game. Now, I understand, guys, that some people are going to go absolutely bananas, and they're going to make the rocket launcher shoot as fast as the assault rifle. So I'm understandable of that. Okay, I get that could happen, but the reality is it's custom games, and what I, again, going back to that same theory, people are going to do what they want, right? Let them do what they want. It's their game. They paid for it. If they want to have a rocket launcher that fires as fast as an assault rifle, let them go do that. Because, if you don't like what's going on in that custom game, you could just leave. So anyway, the main thing I want to talk about today is that it's going to be more, competitive oriented, because that's kind of where I can see this being implemented very heavily, very strongly, and having great effect. Now, I've covered things in social and hybrid topics where it's social and where it benefits social and competitive, but today is going to be strictly competitive because, at least for me, except for one example, I can see this benefiting competitive very, very, in a big way. So that one example actually is Team Snipers, okay? I'm just going to go off and do the social example first. So basically, a lot of people like Team Snipers, right? That's no surprise. It's been around for a while. But some people really like to play, different styles of Team Snipers. I'm sure many people have a preferred sniper from a game, and a lot of people, just by chance, like the Halo 2 sniper, where it was a bit more rapid firing and, had that kind of effect. Now, it would be really cool if a bunch of buddies got together and they were like, oh, well, we want to play Halo 5 schematics. We want to play everything that Halo 5 is. We just don't like how slow the sniper fires, which I'll be honest, it is a bit slower even than Halo 4. So, that's they may want to be playing that a little bit different style of Halo, and they should be able to do that. They should be able to alter it by a few milliseconds, or maybe even an entire second. Who knows? I mean, I'm assuming that the scale can be vastly changed, but I'm assuming that most people, especially in the competitive setting, are going to be tweaking it by very minor amounts just to make it a bit more balanced. And think back, guys. We're getting into competitive now, but think back to Halo 4. 343 took so long to fix the things we wanted to do, and a lot of that was just because in all respect to 343 was their first game. They were being a bit stubborn. They were like, okay, well, our game is good. I think you guys are being a bit light-skinned. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is the bolt shot would destroy anyone's skin regardless of how light it was. So that was the problem there, right? And this just ties right into being able to change the damage and the fire rate of weapons. In that particular case, it would have been fantastic to be able to change the damage of the weapon. And it doesn't need to be anything advanced or too detailed. It could be as rudimentary as a slider left and right. Do you want this weapon to do 100% damage, or do you want it to do 10% damage? Now, I would love if the slider was, went by single digits rather than by tens of percents, which we've seen in the past goes by tens of percent, so you can't really dial it into exactly how fast or how strong you want the weapon to be, but it would be a step in the right direction. I think it would definitely improve the customizability of a Halo custom game, and it would really open up some big opportunities for competitive specifically, but again, it can be used in other ways. But, competitive specifically, I can see this benefiting greatly from, again, because we saw the DMR, right? Well, we just covered the bolt shot, but let's go into the DMR. Had a great fire, had a ridiculous fire rate, right? It was a fantastic weapon for all the wrong reasons. And, basically, it would have been great to be able to just tune it down a bit. I mean, nostalgically, I'm happy that the BR's 4-shot and that, for the most part, not really entirely based on the weapon times that I showed you guys a little while back, it has been resolved to an extent, okay? At least within reasonable measures that, in my opinion, can be fixed very easily. It's much closer, the kill times between the BR and the DMR, than it was in Halo 4. However, going back to Halo 4, we had to wait months for that to happen, okay? The game was pretty much dead at that point, and, I really can't help but wonder if we had the ability to tweak the fire rate of a weapon, maybe tune the DMR down a bit so that it was more on par with the BR, so that, again, it could be used for its very advantageous long-range abilities, okay? That's still a thing. I really think that there would have been some significant changes. Of course, this is all in custom games, so it depends on whether people are in custom game or not, but I think there would have been some significant changes in how popular that game was, and whether or not it would have died out at all. I mean, I'm sure it would have slowed its pace a little bit in popularity, but the fact of the matter is it did die quite quickly, much quicker than Reach did, and it really, really slowed to a snail's pace, and I can't help but wonder, would it have even gone down that hard at all, or even slowed down to that pace? I think a lot of people were just so frustrated with the absence of basically 343 as the developer willing to change things, and also some things that they didn't agree with, like sprinting and everything. But that's going to happen regardless, right? Hey, that would be fixable with toggleable abilities, which I've talked about in the past at length, but that's not what this video is about. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I think it's a pretty good idea. Again, it's custom games. It's where I'm not talking about these changes happening in matchmaking or even any of these things taking effect in matchmaking. Maybe the only thing that might happen is if let's say competitive MLG, right, picks the game up and they're like, oh well, we want this and this different, and then an MLG playlist comes out, or a throwdown playlist, or whatever it was called. A competitive playlist comes out, and those changes are in that playlist, which would make sense, and you'd have to play that, but that's always the way it's been. Whatever competitive decides to do, you're gonna have to play it regardless, whether or not you like it or not. So let me know what you're thinking about this in the comments down below. I'm sure some of you are, over the top pissed at what I just said. Some of you, I'm sure, are a bit more reasonable. I don't want to say the other people are not, but I mean, I got to admit that the people that are going to accept of this idea do have a bit of a more open mind. And the reality, again, guys, I know I keep saying this, but it is a custom game. It's not going to take place in matchmaking. So if you don't like it, just leave the custom game. You know what I mean? It's just that simple, because some people in reality will abuse this. If it goes over 100% weapon damage, that is. Like if the scaler is not 100% to less than 100%, if it's maybe like 200% or 300% to 100% or something like that, right? Basically, people will abuse it. I'm gonna say it right now. But for the majority of uses that it would be used for, specifically the competitive community, it would make strides of just ridiculous amounts of options for them, and they wouldn't need to wait on the developer to do much of anything at all. So let me know what you think about this in the comments. Rate the video what you think it deserved, and if you'd like to become a Sage in training, make sure you subscribe today. This has been MrBayeasy, your favorite Sage, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.